Bro, why do you have a box of chips? This is the most American thing I've ever seen in my life. Then you bring out the Metal Gear box, dude. You're like, I'm sorry, Otacon, I can't do anything. I've got to eat all these chips first.
That reaction was everything I was hoping it would be.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. One of your hosts today, Ethan, and joining me, as always, are my good friends Kyle.
Hello.
And Hunter. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
Almost forgot we had to do a podcast there. I'm not gonna lie. I just hit record and was like, let's just chill. I'm just a little guy. Let me just be. Let me just exist. It's fine. How you both doing? You doing all right?
Yep.
Other than being disappointed in your financial decisions.
Hang on, yeah. Let me just. I wrote.
Yes, we're doing good.
I wrote a formal apology. Hang on. I didn't actually. I should have. There was a part of me that was like, I should come out in a suit and have a formal statement written, and then I realized I couldn't be bothered, so I'm not going to do that.
It's okay. We'll just make a category for you at the year-end awards. Call it the Part of the Problem Award.
Jump award.
Dude,
Silliest goose.
I mean, I said it in the video, right? Where it was like, it was a coincidence. Where it was like, I was working from home on the day that the pre-orders were going up because I had to ring the doctors for about some things. I was like, I'll just stay home, and I was like, oh yeah, that thing's happening, and I was like, I'll just get in line for the controller. I kind of want the controller, and I do have the controller. I was like, that's great. I'll get the controller. And then, like, the way that PlayStation Direct worked was it had, like, a randomized queue, right? It didn't matter if you got there 5 hours beforehand or you showed up 2 minutes before the queue started. It just rolled the dice and went,
Could you imagine if real life did that?
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Like, you just show up, like, 5 hours before somebody else, and then they just, like, scramble you all up, and it's
Yeah,
like,
and they go, right,
Sorry,
let's roll
buddy,
this
you drew the
dice,
short
yeah.
straw.
Bobby, who showed up 2 minutes before, he gets in first, yeah. So they just randomized it when it hit 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or whatever it was. They just randomized it, and I was like, okay, let's just see what happens. And then the little ding ding happens, and it was like, your average wait time is 3 minutes. I'm like, oh shit, I got the god RNG on this thing. Of all the things to waste good RNG on, not the fantasy draft or anything like that. No, it was just like, this is where we get it. And it just let me in, and everything was still there. And then the monkey brain just went, like, symbols started bashing, and there we go. I just pre-ordered it. You can shake your head all you want. The thing that I'm the most disappointed in is that I don't scalp. I could have scalped it, but I didn't. So there we go. Look forward to PS5 Pro impressions in like 3 weeks, I guess. I don't know. I've not even used it yet.
Whenever he decides to use it, yeah.
But no, I mean, it's kind of cool. I'm like, here's the thing, right? As I said it very clearly.
I can save us a segment. It does the same things on the machine with the same lack of games.
I see, Hunter. You don't know that yet. I'll have to come back and do some extensive research and experimentation and come back to you when I've played a game on it. Let me to be fair, I have looked at Final Fantasy.
More pores to Cloud's face in Rebirth.
I did look a bit at Rebirth, but we'll get into that at some point.
Of course you did.
This is the first thing I booted. It's the only thing. Let's be clear. It's the only thing I booted up on it. I'm like, this is the Rebirth machine. Let me boot up Rebirth. Let me have a look. Very pretty. But yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna buy PS5. If it was just, oh, boo-hoo, you lost. Would you like a normal PS5 Pro? No, I would have been like, close the tab, give me my controller, and walk off. Like, no. But this is the fancy numbered one that'll keep its value. So one day I will scalp it to one of our lovely viewers for £3,000. You place your orders now, people. It's a special one because it's mine.
And that'll finance his next stupid special edition console.
It's true.
The cycle continues.
The cycle continues. You know, I have to make one stupid purchase every year, and this is this year's. And next year it'll be a second Switch 2 before the end of the year. That's what it will be, ladies and gentlemen. But no, welcome on in, everybody.
I think the Switch 2 is coming next year.
Well, apparently it's not, because this week, ladies and gentlemen, we are discussing what the final year of the Switch will be like, and what we're saying is, this is the third final year that I think on this podcast we have stated it's the final year, so we're just doing it again. Why not? Who cares at this point? I've gone delirious. Obviously, I'm spending stupid money on shit like this. Like, you know, this is just like. By the way,
To
Hunter.
be fair,
Do you
The
use
controller is
these?
really cool looking.
This is the Edge. Do you have like? I don't know how I feel about this yet because I'm still getting used to these little back nubbins. I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
get.
I've had a use case for the extra buttons. Like when I was playing Elden Ring, I mapped triangle to that, so it was easy. So I didn't have to fiddle with the, you know, hand positioning
All
there.
I
It made
like, I've been using this on Black Ops 6 because I've been using it for like crouching and jumping and stuff like that. It helps a little bit. But all I can do is with
or
these little knob and little things, like if you push it up like that, like that's the release mechanism because that's how it comes out, right? 'Cause you can swap it for
no.
paddles. And this is like the best fidget toy that I have ever seen in a video game. Like I'm just sitting there playing a video game and I'm just fidgeting with it. Like I'm not even using it as a button. I'm just like, this is great. Little fidget toy. You love to see it. No, the
It
controllers
was
are really nice.
also helpful in Final Fantasy 16 with the comboing the magic.
Guess I'll never
thing
know
with
because I'm not
tri-
replaying that game ever again. So I'm sure
Hey
when the
man,
next
you asked if I had a use for those buttons, and I was just speaking on the two most notable examples.
they are
It'd be good for
quite
like
yeah.
DMC5 too, because like Nero needs like 1,000 buttons to play him at all. So I
Nah,
think those little back notches would be nice.
I'll probably use it for like whenever I go and rebeat all the Souls games. To be fair, they are nice controllers. They're very nice. I'm using the Edge because I'm not paying fucking whatever stupid amount of money I paid and not fucking using it. That's the like stupid people are like, what a nice box. Let me stick it in a cupboard so that when if I make it 20 years and don't die of some random disease, maybe I will get to sell it for $10,000. When inflation will have already gone up anyway. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to open the fucker and use it. And I'm liking it quite a bit, to be honest. The controller, big fan, can review the DualSense Edge. Is it worth it? No, I don't know. It was pretty nice. I like it. It's pretty good. Anyway, Nintendo Switch. Let's talk about Nintendo Switch. Let's not talk about my bad financial decisions. I'll make an apology at the end of the year.
Let's talk about his future bad financial decisions.
Yeah, another year of Nintendo Switch 1. Will even buy a fourth original Switch? Let's find out. I'm placing it from April. That's where I'll probably do. Now, so we're going to do this in basically 3 parts. We're going to talk about what's already been announced. There's been a couple of things that are announced for next year. So we'll talk about what is already on the slate. We'll talk about our hypothetical. Where do we think realistically, if we weren't clowning around thinking there's a whole nother year of this, where do we realistically think Switch 2 is going to sit? Where do we think it'll be announced? Where it'll land-ish? And then we'll do a fun hypothetical of if we're just stuck with the Switch for 2025 until like November, what would Nintendo possibly fill those final few months in with? What are we going to do? What are Nintendo fans going to do? Play games? No, that's not allowed. But yeah, well, I feel like that's a solid plan, right? That's a solid plan. Should I do some housekeeping before we do that? Yeah, housekeeping.
You put a review up.
I put multiple videos up at this point, so if you want to see me turn a 3 times profit into a holds its value, go to youtube.com/shotgamersonly where you can see me open the fancy PS5 Pro.
Dude, I will say that video was hilarious. Just watching you pull boxes out of the box.
Like a magic trick, wasn't it? It was
there was like
6
5 boxes in there.
Dude, it was a 9-minute video. I'm not even joking to you. It was a 35-minute experience of unboxing all that. That is cut down because there was so much box. There was box after box after box.
I was already baffled that it took 9 minutes to happen. So that it was actually 35 is hysterical.
No, it was 35. It took me a while to cut it down because it was the original cardboard box, then there was a cardboard box inside the cardboard box, then there was the fancy box, then when you opened the fancy box, there was another fancy box. Opened that was where the PS5 Pro was, and there was a separate fancy box with all the accessories in it that also had fancy boxes in it. It was like a Sony Matryoshka doll, except it cost like $1,000, and the joy was very quickly over once you'd finished opening it. Yeah. It was an experience. I'll give Sony that. It was the nicest unboxing experience I've ever had in my life. But for what I paid, I fucking expect that. So it's like those are part of it.
Very entertaining video. Go watch it and go post a tomato emoji in the comments.
Please
just
do.
for Hunter.
Just for Hunter. And then my Life is Strange double exposure review also went out. Kind of went under the radar because we've been uploading so much. So I was expecting it to kind of do that because it's in the sandwiched in between other stuff. But if you would be so kind go check that out if you haven't already. I'd appreciate it. I think it's one of the best reviews I've written, so I like it quite a bit. It's up there with Starfield for me. And what you know, the most controversial, hard to pick ones are usually the ones where your best work comes out because you're not just sitting there gushing, going, "I like the graphics, I like the gameplay, I like everything else." 5 out of 5. But no, I like that review quite a bit. So if you haven't already checked it out, go check it out. What did I finally score double exposure? Go watch and find out. It's also on the website, hotgamesonly.com, if you want to read it. This week, we might have another review up. Maybe Hunter?
Yeah, probably.
Cool. I won't put a date on it or what it is, because it might come out the week after, but expect another review coming out in a timely fashion. So plenty of stuff happening on the website and podcasts. So yeah. And then we get into December, and then it'll be top 5 games of the year or whatever season.
6.
You did 6? Cool. I've got to remember if I've played 6 games 6. This year. We'll do 6. That's fine. We can do 6. I'll just have to quickly.
I can afford to cut off my number 6 entry.
Dude, I'm have to gonna count 6 entries now. I'm like, what have I played? Who knows?
Yeah,
we'll find out.
It's fine. Won't be able to put 10 on there again this year.
I definitely won't. I haven't played 10 new games this year. Spent half of the year on PS3, dude. Anyway.
Oh shit.
Yeah. PS5 Pro, by the way. Anyway, let's talk about Nintendo Switch. What is already announced for the Nintendo Switch for next year? I know the big thing, first of all, is Donkey Kong has finally been unleashed from his prison to have a remaster of a Wii game.
Yeah, that's the first one chronologically because it's in January.
Yes.
Then I think the next thing that they have slated with a date would be the Xenoblade X remaster.
Definitive edition,
yeah. So far, what they have is there's 4 games. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD for the Nintendo Switch, which is just a remaster of the 3DS version of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Return. So it has all the 3DS content and it's HD, which, to be honest, if you're a Donkey Kong Country fan, I know you've bought this game like 6 million times already, but that's a nice package to have.
But what's one more?
Yeah, I think it's nice to have everything from, because when Nintendo did these stupid things where they would release it for the 3DS and the Wii or the Wii U, and then they'd have separate content, so there was no definitive edition. It's nice to have one that is now definitive. So there you go. There's that. They said it could never be done, but we are getting yet another Xenoblade Chronicles game for the Nintendo Switch. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, which I believe, Kyle, is the entirety of the original. And a couple. They say new story, but we don't know what that means. It could be like a future redeemed
it's probably
thing
just gonna
or a future connected thing.
It's probably just gonna fill in the blanks on that cliffhanger ending we got in the original.
That'd be my guess as well. Either that or trying to tie it more into main Xenoblade lore because of the way that Future Redeemed tried to wiggle some X into it. So I'm like, it's going to do something, but I don't think it's going to do... I think there are some people out there who are expecting it to be like a future connected kind of thing, and I don't think it'll be that substantial. I think it'll be like a couple of missions here and there, maybe an epilogue or something like that. But it's cool to see it, and then that is the entirety of the Xenoblade saga on Nintendo Switch, ladies and gentlemen. They did it. The Mad Lads did it. Which means it gives them a good clean break if they wanted to do something new for Switch 2. Or if they wanted to carry it on. You've got no excuses. It's literally all available via backwards compatibility. Best of both worlds. Who knows what they'll do?
Yeah.
But it's all there. And also that's just one more game off the Wii U. So again,
true.
Make a mental tick for that, guys. When we come back later, we're running out of games for the Wii U ports, and then there's 2 more that are TBD, but they're both confirmed to be releasing on Nintendo Switch. One, whether they release on the successor is up to you. I'm sure we'll have this discussion later, but that's Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and Pokemon Legends ZA, both announced for Switch 1. The rumor is currently
Legends Pizza.
Yeah, the rumor for Legends ZA, as far as I'm aware, that I've heard so far, is there's rumors of a build because the big Pokemon leak happened. There's a build of it for Switch 2 or whatever's next, but people are under the assumption that might have been scrapped and it is just a Switch 1 game. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, that's it. But as you can see, other than something out in March, it's a pretty barren landscape, which I think a lot of people are hoping means first half of the year for Switch 2.
Well, don't worry, dude. Guilty Gear Strive is going to save the Switch.
No, thank God for that.
Because that's finally getting a port.
Does it have rollback?
4 years into the game's life cycle.
Yeah, but
those
will
are
it
the
have
kinds of
rollback?
shots in the arm that fighting games love to have.
Exactly.
A whole new player base.
I have no idea if that's going to
Y-
run at all
You
or
could
not.
you could buy a Switch version of the game and go beat up the 10-year-olds who stumble into it.
I think it's
could.
I think it's
That'd
gonna
be really funny.
It's gonna be really interesting because it's like that will be one of the last examples really of this big these miracle ports that Nintendo people have been making for Switch. But it's like I think a lot of people are hoping Switch 2 is closer to like that PS4 level of power, and because the PS4's been being carried forward for so long, I think people are just gonna I think you're just gonna get to a point where you're gonna have new games just launch simultaneously on Switch 2 and just kind of just exist and not be these miracle weird ports that look a bit muddy and you just kind of have to bear with it. But I think it's gonna be interesting. Are we all let's be real here? We thought if it was going to happen this year, we all thought it would have happened by now. Are we all just assuming? Are we all going in with probably January like the Switch 1 again? Is this what we're doing? Like, where are we thinking on Switch 2? When do you think Nintendo's finally going to announce it? All we have written down on paper is from their last financial report. They reconfirmed that they are planning to announce the successors to Nintendo Switch before the end of physical year 24-25, which is the end of March. So basically by March they will be announcing it. Are we all set on January? Is that what we're expecting? Where are we thinking?
That would make the most sense, I think.
Because when did they do that original Switch?
January.
The teaser was September, and then it was January was the big event, the infamous
where they
event.
announced
the really
stuff.
bad event that was had the live translation that was pretty terrible, and then they spent way too long on a load of random stuff.
Lots of stuff, and then the best trailer in the history of anything you've ever seen at the end.
Yeah, it was a weird one that was. I think it's got likely to be January. I feel like I don't know how close Nintendo is with Jeff and the Game Awards anymore, because they used to early Switch, early. No, I'm not saying that they would early Switch, because early Switch, they announced a lot of stuff at the Game Awards. They announced Bayonetta 3. They announced the expansion pass to Smash Bros. They did a lot of stuff at the Game Awards, and then circa COVID onwards, they have done fuck all for the Game Awards ever again, right? Because there's a small part of me that's there might be a thing where they're just see you in January, and they don't do anything. It's just Nintendo Red or something, and Mario just sup bitch, and they just see you in January. But it's I think for the most part, I'm pretty set on we don't see anything this year. Nintendo even acknowledge it this year.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, makes sense. They probably want one last holiday season, one last push of get this fucking 8-year-old tablet in your hands if you haven't already, if you're one of the 3 people that don't have one.
Plus, a whole new console announcement just seems like an odd... the Game Awards just feels like an odd place to have something like that.
Happened before, though.
Did it?
Xbox Series
Microsoft
X was announced at the Game Awards the year prior to it even coming out. It wasn't coming out till November. They showed the fucker.
Xbox doesn't count.
That's true. They also said it would have Halo at launch, and we saw how that went, so it's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah. January reveal, I think, is pretty much, I don't want to say a lock, but I think that's because February doesn't make I don't know. January to me seems repeat the same kind of process.
Mm-hmm.
When's it coming out though, guys? When is it coming? Is Xenoblade Chronicles X the launch game for Switch 2 and it's cross-gen, guys? Is that what's happening?
That would be really funny.
That'd be antithetical to good capitalism.
Which is Nintendo in a nutshell, so I think that's a good idea. I don't think it'll be March. My current gut feeling is May. That is my gut feeling right now. Is May. Just because I think they want it out before summer. I think Nintendo will, and I think, well, we said this about this year, where it's like, it'll be announced by, like, it'll be out in September, right? But it's like, I think they want a big kind of build up so that they can go kind of do similar to what they did with Switch 1, where it's like, here's a game every month so that by the time we get to the holiday season, you've got, like, families have got no fucking reason to not buy a Switch 2. Like, there's like 6 games that you need that your kid will be moaning at you that they need to play by the time that we get to Christmas, right? I feel like that'll be the plan. So I'd say like I still think first half of the year. I'd say like May or June probably. It's like May or June or September. They don't, like, July and August feel like wrong. Is that weird? I feel like big summer months feel wrong to release a console in. But hey.
Yeah, that would be strange.
So we'll go with that then. So in our hypothetical world, right? Let's start with hypothetical world. It's May, right? Let's start with hypothetical world. It's May, and then let's go with hypothetical world. It's further than that. How are we filling the rest of this calendar? Because let's be real here. You're telling me that Donkey Kong is either way gonna fill up, gonna keep the fans hungry? You gonna feed you? No, not gonna happen. As much as I love Xenoblade, all 5 of us will be great, but the other like 6 billion Nintendo Switch users are gonna go anime shit again and then cringe and then move on.
Even me, who's played and liked the other Xenoblade games, I'm like, depends on what's out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely play it and give it a shot, but the problem with the Switch 1 now is I've been over it for a year and a half, so it's very hard. Like Zelda, I was like, okay, sequel to one of my favorite games of all time. I guess I will put up with the Switch for this. I will put up with it. And Xenoblade 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. So is Xenoblade 2. But X is a spin-off enough in a way where I'm like, I might not fully jive with this, so I'm willing to give it a chance, but I'm not willing to lock
From
in
what
for
I
100
understand, it's
hours
the most story light one of them, and I definitely
you know
didn't.
me, dude. You know me. I'm all about that gameplay, dude. I'm all about.
I definitely didn't
gameplay.
like the gameplay of 1 and 2. So whatever X has got dancing with it, with like
Hear
this
me out.
diet MMO
Got big
stuff,
robots,
I don't
mate.
really.
Got big robots.
Got big robots.
You know,
That's cool.
Gonna cater to some people.
Do you want a big robot with a big lightsaber?
Maybe I do. Who knows? We'll find out in March. One thing I can see them doing at the Game Awards is announcing a game for February, because there's nothing in February. Nintendo, like, what the hell's going on there? I feel like there's room for something in February. So let's just make something up. What do we think will come in February? Has anyone got a couple of ideas? Any good ideas? Like, this is it. If you've got your most realistic expectations of a game that could still release, go for it.
It's about time for another Kirby game,
Oh
Ethan.
no! This is
It's
not
been
how
2
I wanted
years.
it to end. No.
Kirby never stays still for too long.
You're telling me they wouldn't want to put him on the Switch too? Like, at least go,
No, they'll have another Kirby game ready for Switch too.
No, they'll put that same Kirby game on the Switch too.
That too. It's gonna be like Kirby wrestles the demons of Popstar or whatever.
I
don't
haven't
know.
Played.
It probably won't. I don't expect it to be another 3D platformer like Forgotten Land. I suspect it'll somehow still be new, since Kirby is impeccably good at just making new 2D platformers. But
Kirby Pinball 2.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be a good like 2D Kirby game, because Star Allies was Garbo, so maybe it'll be like a good one, you know? Like, maybe they'll like Planet Robobot or something. Maybe they remake Planet Robobot. They do like putting remasters, like they do like Kirby Triple Deluxe on the 3DS. Maybe they just bring Robobot from 3DS over. Maybe that's what they do. I don't know. That could be something. Yeah. It sounds about right. I feel like Forgotten Land 2 or whatever it is will be a Switch 2 thing. Like, I feel like that's when you save for, like, you know, that. But yeah, I can see that, like a Kirby game. Another one, because Donkey Kong Country Tropical Returns HD, they love doing this, dude. We've been saying this forever. Why did they never do it? Because they even made a sequel to it for Switch in like the first year or so, and it was worse than the original by far. Just doing Yoshi's Woolly World again, just porting it to Switch with the 3DS stuff.
Please, my entire kingdom for that.
Like Yoshi and Poochie's Woolly World, all the stuff from the 3DS version on the Switch and in a good package, and then they can just retroactively never make a Yoshi game again. Like, I'm fine with them just porting that, and then we have that. I feel like that'd be a good February game as well. I think some kind of 2D platformer is usually a good place for February. I feel like that's, and I know we've got Donkey Kong, but Donkey Kong heads, they're in their own realm. I feel like a more family friendly, like, baby's first platformer would be a good kind of thing there. They I feel like we're in Port City. That's the thing, is it's like if they do a new Kirby,
that's a
I'll be
majority of
genuinely
what
surprised.
this list is, and that's why I have new Kirby here, because most of the other things here are ports, and Kirby's the one that seems the most feasible to get something new.
Yeah, true. Okay. Anyone else got anything that they could potentially see for February? Any other February games? Any realistic expectations? I guess February or April, because we've also got April, right? If we're going for that May spot, we've also got April. Any realistic expectations here? These are
how likely.
Yeah,
go on, Ethan.
These are like Switch 2 is out in May, so they will need to fill the gaps. But these are like the likely ones. These are like, I've got a good feeling that we might get this still, right? Like, this isn't copium. Like, we're gonna get the most niche 3DS game port of all time. Like, I'm talking about, this is it. This is your chance, Kyle. What do you think, realistically?
I was kind of thinking, like, maybe Kid Icarus Uprising.
Yeah, I could see that one.
Yeah, that's because it would. Yeah, I could potentially see that, because that screams to me like a game where fans would be extremely happy but also disappointed at the same time. That's like one of those perfect Nintendo games where it's like, yes, we're getting something back. No, it's on the end of the life cycle. Where it's like, why couldn't it been for the new thing? I can see that. It's one of those few 3DS games where I'm sitting there and I'm like, you really have done nothing with that for like a decade, and you haven't even ported it. The other one that comes to my mind, which I'm like, again, if this did happen, late Switch, and I'd be very disappointed when it comes to 3DS, but I'm surprised it hasn't shown up in the past decade because the 3DS version did so well, is Tomodachi Life. Like, where that to me screams like a late Switch, like making a port of that. I'd be extremely happy and disappointed at the same time for something like that. But it's like there's quite a few games like that on the 3DS where I'm like, wait, why did we never get anything to do with that? We got Miitopia, for God's sake, but we didn't get Kid Icarus or Tomodachi Life. Who's the fucking super fan of Miitopia in Nintendo, dude? That was like, let's green like that bad boy. Or even Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem got a port.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like,
Tokyo Mirage Sesh.
Even that got a. I'm like, who said yes to that one? Like, weirdos. So I can see it. I can see Kid Icarus. That's not a bad shot, really. Is there anything from the Wii U that we don't sit there and just go, it's copium, or they're saving it for Switch 2? That I'm sitting there like,
I could see like Star Fox Zero or like a new Star Fox showing up on the Switch 2, but not at the end of the Switch's life.
If it was a new Star Fox, it would be Switch 2. If it was a port of Zero, it would be the end of Switch's life.
True.
Is the qualifier here, I
yeah.
believe.
Yeah, no, I can see that. There's a sick and twisted part of me that's like, what if they just ported the worst game of all time before the Zelda ports? You know what I mean? Like, what if they just all got together and was like, let's release Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival just for shits and giggles? You know what I mean? Like, let's just bring that one back. Which I know they won't, because I know that, one, that game's dog shit. Two, it sold like hell, like even for a Wii U game. And three, targets all across the globe are still struggling to get rid of the Animal Crossing amiibo that were sent through the stock first time round. So no chance in hell that anyone's going to accept that a second time. But
it sounds like what's one that would be effectively pointless, like the Mario Tennis game that was on the Wii U to put next to the Mario Tennis game on your Switch that has barely more features.
Yeah. But no, like, I think that, I think those are pretty reasonable expectations of if we are doing this, because I feel like there's a lot of games that I'm like, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are the hush hush of where the fuck have they been this entire time.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me now that does just think that, here's the thing, I think they will port them, and I think they will be for Switch 1. I think they might do a double dip thing where you can buy it for both of them, where they just, come September when the Switch 2 is out, it's just like, hey, look, here's Zelda, and you can get it on either or it's just you get it on Switch, and if you put it in your Switch 2, it's nicer for the GameCube games though. So what do you kind of expect? But let's get crazy, right? Nintendo Switch 2 doesn't come out until December 2025, guys. What do we think? What are your hopes? And if we have to, and let's be real here, we can basically, even if Switch 2 comes out in May, we can say what's still coming to Switch 1 because we know that Nintendo's not going to give up the ghost on this fucker, right? Like, it's not going to just day one is not going to end, and that's the be all end all, right? I think there's going to be cross kind of promotion for both of them still. I think there's going to be a weird era where I don't know if it's a weird. How are we feeling on Switch 2?
PS4 to PS5
do we think it's going to be a PS4, PS5? Because Nintendo has usually been the kind to draw a line. Like, they'll announce if there's Switch 1, like, say when the Wii U's a bad example, but say when the Wii went to the Wii U, right? They had games that were still going to come out for the Wii, but they were announced and they were just kind of like, what's done is done, and then cut a hard line, right? Do you think they're going to cut a hard line here?
Or do you went full shutdown with like the Wii's online services when the Wii U,
like 4 years
a year
later.
into the Wii U's life. But yeah.
But do you think they are going to just draw the line here, or do you think because it's backwards compatible, we're going to have this era of Nintendo where, oh, it's out on, you can get this on both of the consoles? Because what's weird is
I don't think that will last more than like a year.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll happen for big games, or do you think it'll be like the smaller titles? Because my thing is, you've got to give people a reason to jump over. Like, it's all well and good going, hey guys, listen, Miitopia 2 is coming to both, but you can't really go 3D Mario is coming to both, because then who's going to buy the Switch 2? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
all these idiots who have thought that a Switch 2 has been coming since 2019 will still do it.
I mean, hell yeah, I'll be there day one. If you told me that every game was coming to Switch 1, which hey Ethan, you know how you own 3 Switches? You can play these games on all of those, and I'll still be like, give me the new one. I don't care. But I'm expecting at least, like, if they announce a new Mario game or a Mario Kart, that they're gonna be just Switch 2. But that's my expectation. Is there'll be smaller games, like we're talking Wii U ports. We're talking about Metroid Prime 4 is definitely coming to Switch 1. Do you think that comes to Switch 2? We haven't had that conversation yet. Do you think that's a launch game? How are we feeling on that? I was bold when I was talking about it earlier this year, but
I honestly don't know. It'd be hard to say without knowing when the new console is actually coming out. But it'll have a Switch 2 version in some capacity, regardless, I think.
I think it's one of two things. I think either it comes out and then a month later the Switch 2 comes out and it gets a Switch 2 port, or it gets like a free upgrade where you can just play it on Switch 2, or it is a Switch launch game, but it's paired with something else. There's a second game that comes out at the same time. And I don't know which one's better. I really don't, because there's a part of me that's like, I want Metroid to be like, oh yeah, hell yeah, it's a Switch 2 launch game, that's great, but I feel like if it is paired with something else, will it get overshadowed? Like, core Nintendo fans will obviously eat it up because they love it, right? But I'd like, Metroid Dread did so well because it was in its own bubble where it came out at a great time where there was nothing really else coming out for Switch, so it had a good time to shine and it did great. And I just don't want them to be like, here's Mario and Metroid, I guess, and then, everyone just gobbles up Mario, and then the Metroid fans get the game they've been waiting has it been nearly 2 decades? Like, they've been waiting a while for this one, right? Like, I don't know what's better, and I'm sure
when
Nintendo...
do we say the wait started?
Well, after Prime 3.
If he means after Prime 3, then that would have been like 2006? 2007?
I think it's 2008. 2007.
Oh.
Okay.
August 2027.
Meet in the middle. But I don't know what's best for that game. I really don't know what's best for that game. In my head, I'm like, I feel like the best way to do that is to release it like a month before Switch 2 and say day one it'll have a patch. But just give it a bit of room to just go, live a little. Get those people to play it if they want to play it, get the Switch 1 audience in. Because there's no way in hell. There's the third option, which I think is absolutely ludicrous, that will never happen in a million years, is Metroid Prime 4 is the launch game and that's it. That's like...
Well, yeah, that's not gonna
Yeah,
happen unless they were so confident that everyone was just gonna buy the Switch too, because
Microsoft's
that's what
porting
they
Halo
do.
at the same time. There we go, guys. There we go. Microsoft, big
Yeah.
publisher.
And that they'll just play anything.
And then
in
the
which
Dude Bros will
case,
be like,
then-
aha, this is the FPS box now, the Nintendo Switch 2. Perfect.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to see with Metroid. Pokemon Legends, I think, will just come out when it wants to. Like, that's a game that is a Switch 1 game that'll come out in November. You know what I mean? Like, that is just... No one's gonna care.
That game's gonna come out and it's gonna look like ass no matter what. So
It is.
let's be real.
There's gonna be...
I'm sorry, guys. I have no faith in Pokemon Studios anymore.
Yeah. Dude, it's like... It's kind of crazy because we always joke and we clown about with how the next generation consoles are really great and they're really powerful, but it's got to the point now that with games where you can barely fucking tell the difference, right? Where it's like, you know, the PS5 Pro is out and you're like, let's be real here. I'm like doing this with most games. Like, I'm sitting there going, okay, I'll take your word for it. But like the difference between the Switch and the Switch 2 should be a big leap still. For Nintendo, it'll be a huge leap. They will have not had a leap like this since the Wii to the Wii U, right? It's gonna be a big leap. Yeah, I still think Game Freak are gonna make it look like it isn't. You know what I mean? Like it's still gonna look like ass. Maybe it'll run at a good frame rate this time, but it'll still look like dog shit. Like, ugh. It's gonna be so that's like a guaranteed.
Yeah.
Even if it's out on Switch 2, it won't look like it. There'll be games around it, and you'll just be like, "Oh, which one's the odd one out?" It'll be Game Freak. It'll always be Game Freak.
Get more comparison screenshots of Xenoblade to Pokemon Switch.
Dude, Monolith on Switch 2. That's what I'm looking forward to, dude. Is Monolith on Switch 2. Like January.
Oh yeah.
Like the sad thing about them announcing X is my guess is obviously they will have been working on the next game because X isn't the kind of game where a whole team will go and work on it. This is like a sub team that will have like 20 people working on it.
Right.
I really hope that doesn't deter them from still showing something, like they showed like a bit of Xenoblade 2 at the launch, just because I want to see what Monolith is capable of on like PS4 hardware. Like that's like they've been basically running on PS3 for like a decade. Like I don't care about anybody else. Kirby will always look great. Mario Kart will always look great. It doesn't matter what kind of, but like just seeing Monolith cook on like decent hardware would be fantastic. But fuck the new hardware. There'll still be games for the old hardware. Hunter, what do you think will be in this wilderness era of Nintendo if it still continues to thrive? Where do you think we'll be going?
Well, you see, if it's not coming out in May and it's pushed to later in the year, that means May is open. And guess what? The 10th anniversary of is May is in 2025. I've been making this joke for all year now. Splatoon Deluxe.
Dude, if that happens, I will not buy a fucking Switch 2. That's like I'm putting my life on that one, dude. Like, my god.
Splatoon Deluxe. Be prepared for it. Squid Jump comes back.
That makes me feel incredibly old. That Splatoon turns a decade old next year. That just is like something that I did not want to hear. Like I can. It's one of those things.
Hunter, you ruined his day.
You have ruined my day, Hunter, because it's one of those things where I can remember playing it and then looking back and going, "Oh wait, no, I was 17 years old. I wasn't young here, like at all. Like I'm just sitting there going, oh no."
Yep.
That's scary. That's terrifying. The time marches onward and Splatoon's still fucking here. Like that's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying.
And none of them have been better than Splatoon 1.
Oh, to be fair, yeah, bring me the good one. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, hell yeah, I'd love that.
Splatoon in my heart, but we got rid of Moray Towers.
Dude, in my heart of hearts,
then it's perfect.
Yeah, and I say this, I know we jest with Splatoon 1 remastered or whatever, but I really hope that Splatoon doesn't show up on the next gen for like a couple of years, like a year 3
Yeah.
thing. Like I think the Splatoon needs a break. Because Splatoon fans love Splatoon, but I think all of us Splatoon casuals have been like, this is the same game 3 times in a row. Can you come back with something new? Like, can we have something different? I can't do 5 maps at launch and then bring in more 8 hours back. I cannot do this. Like, no more, please.
5 maps on a 4-hour rotation with 2 at a time.
Like, new game modes, not just having a casual mode and the worst ranked mode I've ever seen in my life, where everyone's the most Kino fucker on the planet. Like, can we have a middle ground? Like,
but Ethan, Salmon Run is open 24/7 now.
Oh, what a revolution!
Isn't that enough?
No. But no. I like that you dream big, Hunter. I just also would rather anything else. Quite literally anything else. Kyle, in your alternate reality,
oh Jesus,
what would you like to see in like that May slot? Like, that just before summer slot. What is Nintendo cooking for the final summer of Nintendo Switch? Or maybe penultimate summer of Nintendo Switch, depending on how they go.
Imagine if the Switch's life cycle was tied to like Groundhog Day or something, where if it sees its shadow, it's 3 more years for the Switch.
I just like the idea of they were like, we will announce the new hardware before the end of physical year, and then they're just like, did it mean we were gonna release it 2027? See you then. Like, there we go. Have fun.
What would I want to see?
It's difficult.
Well,
we are running out of stuff. We're like running out of stuff unless they bring Luigi's Mansion 1.
Oh, that'd be good.
That would be really funny. Get the whole trilogy.
In fact, yeah, that'll be mine. That'll be mine as they bring Luigi's Mansion 1 in again. Like, yeah. And it has a weird May release date because the last one had like a June. Like 2 came out in June. Yeah, that makes complete sense because they don't like releasing that game on Halloween apparently, except for 3.
Nah.
I wonder if that's why it's the best selling. Who knows?
I think something interesting. So this is going to have a lot of ifs and stipulations to it. So, Switch 2 out in November. And let's also say, for the sake of argument, we know that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a launch title for it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what if they bring back the Metroid Prime 2 remake? Or
I sure have been wanting
Metroid
them to...
2.
Oh, Samus Returns?
Yeah, Samus Returns.
Samus Returns. Not Prime 2, just regular 2.
Oh, they could do that too. It doesn't matter.
But I mean, and also, you can lump the other 2 Prime games in there as well. Like, just dump all the Metroid games.
2025 is the year of Metroid.
It's
the
weird
year of
that
Samus.
Prime 2 and 3 never got a port.
Yeah.
I do think that's weird.
Because, the whole trilogy was available on Wii.
Yeah.
And I think it got re-released on Wii U's eShop.
It did as a virtual console, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I bought it on Wii U. So I was like, I'll get to these eventually. And then the rumors started.
And here we are.
Yeah, and then the rumors started of them coming to Switch. And I was like, oh, I will wait then. And then I got Prime 1, and then I played it for about 3 hours and went, I don't know if I like this, and then never went back. So, yeah, I feel like a Metroid thing would make sense at some point if they were delaying it the inevitable that long to try and get people in on the hype train.
Yeah.
And Samus Returns for the 3DS seems like the easiest one, probably.
Yeah, unless they had already done Prime 2 and 3 at the same time and have just literally been leaving them on the shelf like Nintendo tends to do. Like, unless they did do the whole trilogy at once and then just left the other 2 on the shelf, yeah. I feel like, which we laugh at, but it's like Nintendo does that kind of stuff, like where they do just leave stuff and go, one day we might release you.
Yeah, it's like last year where they bumped Xenoblade 3's release forward.
Yeah. Because it was already done. It was finished in 2021 or something like that, wasn't it? But no, it was finished in 2022 and it came out in 2023. That was it. It was finished. It
came out in 2022, hombres.
Oh, it did, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was 2021. It was finished in 2021 and released in 2022. Yeah. It was sitting on a shelf for over a year.
I'm so glad Hunter is here, dude. Could you imagine if he wasn't?
Yeah, we just
if we didn't have a live fact checker on the show.
I think we'd have more fun, dude. I think our Switch release lineup would be better than the real one. You know what I mean? I loved Xenoblade 3 in 2023. It was a good year, dude. It was a good year. Trust me.
Yeah, but then you didn't play anything in 2022.
Nah, that's not true.
That's
I think
true.
Fire Emblem Three Houses came out in 2022, if I remember correctly.
It came out in 2019, you goof.
Speaking of, I feel like
I
they
was
could.
thinking of Engage. That came out last year.
No, it doesn't exist.
fact.
Anyway, hear me out. 2025. Summer is here. There's still no Switch 2. We've got time for another 3DS port of a Fire Emblem game, you know what I mean? Kyle, what Fire Emblem game do you think they would port if they had to port any of them? The Switch 1. Which one would they be porting?
I sure would love
Fates.
Fire Emblem Awakening.
No, it'd be Face, wouldn't it?
It would be because they hate me, but Awakening would be really cool.
It'd be all 3 Fates games on one cart. That's what it would be.
I mean, that'd be
There
nice
were 3
too.
of those?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a Pokemon situation.
You got
Well, I
one
knew
if
it
you
was
bought
a Pokemon situation.
There
I
was
just
2,
didn't realize
and
they
if
had
you
the
owned both,
Emerald.
there was 2, and then there was like a special edition where there was the 3rd, or you had to buy the 3rd on the eShop or some ridiculous thing. Like, it was really bad.
Which, friendly reminder, you cannot do now because the eShop is shut down.
God, they really boondoggled that one.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go and sail the 7 seas if you ever want to play that now, because I believe the physical version is worth like £6 million or something like that, because it was only available.
To do that
It was only
no
available in a triple pack where you had to buy like the special edition that had all 3 versions of it. It wasn't available as a separate purchase. That's fun. But now I can see a Fire Emblem game ported from 3DS over if we were getting that desperate where it was getting late into that Switch's life cycle and it was being pushed.
If they really locked in, they'd give us Ike's games.
I think we joke about Fates. I feel like it would probably be either Fire Emblem Awakening or it would be what was the weird port, the weird one at the end that they did, like Fire Emblem Echoes. Yeah. No, not Echoes. That Fire Emblem Echoes is a Switch game, isn't it? No, it's Engage. I hate these fucking games. Why are they all sound the same?
It was Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia.
That's it, thank
the
you.
Erica Lindbeck game.
Yes, that one.
Yes.
That one.
And Awakening was the Matt Mercer game.
Of course. Of course.
And
but yeah,
is there a Xander Mopus game yet?
Game. God, I wish.
Not yet. But yeah, I could see that. Hunter, go on, get out your bag of magic tricks because I'm sure you've got something else that you want to
All right.
blaspheme onto the universe.
Nintendo loves their random game 99 versions, right?
Oh, good.
Jesus.
Yeah. And they've dug so far into the bag of tricks that they've already used F-Zero, so what's lower than that?
Star Fox.
Prepare for Ice Climbers 99.
In the middle of summer, perfect timing.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah, okay. What do you do in Ice Climbers 99, Hunter?
You climb the mountain.
You climb the mountain against 99 other people. You try to get there the fastest.
So is it an extended mountain, or does what you do in the game fuck other people down the mountain? Like, how does this work?
I suspect it would be a little bit of both. Like,
it'll only be out for 2 months before they close the online for it.
Yeah, exactly. The only 2 surviving 99 games are Tetris and F-Zero. At least last I checked. I don't know.
I believe so.
Someone
yeah.
Go make sure
Pac-Man
F-Zero's
died.
okay.
Pac-Man died, definitely.
Anyone check on F-Zero.
But yeah, that's very feasible. Unfortunately, Star Fox 99 would also be very funny if everybody was on a 2D plane stuck, like just trying.
I was thinking like the Star Fox,
like a dogfight. Yeah,
multiplayer.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was
Fortnite and Star Fox.
No, I was thinking
that's all it is.
Dude, I was just thinking of everybody playing on their own 2D plane of Star Fox, like the original, and then it's just like attacking enemies, shoots them into somebody else's game, and it's like everyone gets hyped, and it's like, oh yeah, it's Star Fox 99, but everyone's just playing single player Star Fox against each other. Like, I think that's what they would do.
Yeah.
No, that seems fair enough. I'm struggling to think of anything else that I could potentially even want from Nintendo in summer. Like I say, Fire Emblem, maybe they would do a Fire Emblem in the summer. Kyle, have you got anything you can think of left for a summer game?
I don't know. I don't necessarily want them, but um, Paper Mario Color Splash
Oh
and
God,
Sticker Star, how likely do you think those are?
no.
Because I think not at all.
I
I
think
think that Nintendo would realize that nobody would. I think you have a higher chance of Color Splash being sold on its own.
yeah, same.
I think they know that no one likes Sticker Star.
Yeah, I think that.
Like, this is one that they'll shadow drop on the Switch 1 after Switch 2 just for posterity.
Yeah, that's definitely one. Yeah, and then I guess we get into
Oh, before we move
Oh, go
on from
on.
the summer,
Oh God, yeah. Hunter's got the whole
Wave
direct.
Race Blue Storm.
Oh
The
God.
fuck is that?
It's a game where you race jet skis. It was on the GameCube, and it was showing off that generation's sick water physics. The
God.
water still looks really
Yeah, I
good.
thought it was on the N64. There was an
The
Wave
first
Race
one
64.
There was a
was.
Wave
Oh, yeah.
Race 64, yeah.
There was a sequel for the GameCube that looked pretty darn good for the time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, GameCube PS2 generation had some really good water.
Yeah, it did. That's why everything was so aquatic.
Like, we're gonna make the shiniest, bluest water you've ever
That's
seen.
why Mario went to the beach. That's why Final Fantasy X's first level was a beach. That's why Kingdom Hearts' first level was a beach.
That's why Link went to the ocean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It all makes sense now.
Full time then, I guess. What have you got, Hunter? Are you huffing the Zelda copium? Do you think that the fabled ports show up?
I guess.
Do they just release one of them just to spite people?
Oh, absolutely! It's only gonna be one because
Which
if they still
one?
need a
Twilight Princess, because it's the one I
Waker.
don't want.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would absolutely only be one of them because if they need a buffer for another while they're working on another Zelda game for the
Oh
next
yeah, that
year,
game's gonna take fucking forever. That game,
Yeah,
literally, we're
yeah,
not gonna
so
get the next 3D Zelda game until like 2028.
7.
Yeah, but so they'll have.
I'd hope 7. If when was it? 2023.
So they'll throw down. Yeah, 2023. So they'll throw down the other port sometime in the following year or a year after that, depending on what else they have up their sleeve. It would be hysterical if instead of those, it was something that nobody was expecting, like a Minish Cap or Four Swords Adventure port.
Yeah, but
Okay, but Four Swords would be pretty sick.
it would, but
Online
also
co-op
Grezzo's
with
just
that game?
done Echoes of Wisdom, right? And it's like they're the team that if anybody was going to do that it would be them. So it's like I feel like the hope of that one is kind of dead. Also, I feel like that's too much effort for a final release on Switch. Like I feel like I'm like,
there are a lot of cool like multiplayer GBA games I wished got brought over to Switch.
Yeah.
Like that Kirby Amazing Mirror would have been really cool. But oh well. Switch 2, I guess. Hopium.
If you wanted to go and pay the extra money for their silly extra tier of the it might exist that way.
Maybe one day.
So what were you thinking, Hunter, for 4? What were you thinking in your little imaginary world?
Have a gander at my Oh, this one I have mostly because it's completely irrelevant to Nintendo's own plans, but I wouldn't be shocked if it shows up in the fall for the Switch at the time. Ace Attorney 7. They have lineage with Nintendo. That's where the original games dropped at. They've shotgunned the whole series onto the machines we have now, so I think they're cooking up a new one. And I wouldn't be shocked if it was out next
Layton also
year.
still confirmed? Is that confirmed for next year? Still?
I don't know anymore, to be honest with you.
Because
oh baby, next fall could be when we get Deca Police.
Oh good. Oh yeah, that's never happening. By the way, that is never happening. Because yeah, Professor Layton in the New World of Steam was what it was called, wasn't it? Still scheduled for 2025. So
yeah, release date TBD.
Yeah. Worldwide in 2025, which is crazy that they're doing that still. But yeah. So it's like, I can see that happening. I think things are just going to happen that were already, there's plenty of stuff that's been that have been announced for Switch. They're just going to happen, right? They're just going to be put on Switch.
Yeah, like
regardless.
things that are supposed to come to Switch that exist outside of Nintendo's grubby mitts are just gonna come when they're
Especially
done.
for, say, like Japanese games, because they're just 100% going to commit to it. Like, you've already seen Western developers sneakily go, we're releasing it for PS5, Xbox, and the next Nintendo console or something like that. People are already going out of the way, whereas a lot of Japanese people will just be like, the Switch is out, we'll just put it on the Switch. You know what I mean? Like, we're not doing it. We're not gonna. We'll release it for both. So yeah, I can see that. I also want to say that if we do get to the point where Switch 2 is November 2025, right, or whatever, that Tomodachi Life will be released in August. That's a fact. That is coming straight from my sources at Nintendo.
Yeah.
They've got to break glass in case of November release, and it's just got a copy of Tomodachi Life for Nintendo Switch in it. It's going to be great. And I will buy it, and it'll be fantastic. I loved the original Tomodachi Life on 3DS. Obviously the DS one was exclusive to Japan, but the 3DS one, great game. Forcing random characters that you make up to do the most random shit is the funniest thing. Like, I don't understand why haven't they made another one? Do it! Fucking cowards. Let me make weird me's. Let them live in an apartment. It's like watching a sitcom, dude. That's literally what it is. It's just making your own sitcom. It's pretty great. Anyway, Kyle, have you got anything for fall?
No, I think we've ran through all the funny options. I'm just looking. Nintendo Life has an article on all the games that hadn't been ported from Wii U yet.
Yeah, shout outs to Nintendo Life. They do live their Nintendo lives, Pretty good.
And all that's left is just a bunch of boring stuff like Nintendo Land.
They could do that. They could do that
coming over.
That, yeah.
Game and Wario.
It has been 2 years since a WarioWare now, so.
No God.
Kirby will have been.
By that point, yeah. By that point, yeah.
It's
Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, which is this game where Kirby is a ball and you're like drawing paths for him. It was dog shit. Ethan played it.
Yeah, dog shit.
Devil's Third.
Dog shit. I haven't played it, but I know that for a fact.
Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed.
Any fun 3D
Deus Ex Human Revelation Director's Cut.
Oh yeah, I hope they port the Batman Arkham City Wii U port. I hope they port that. With the blue gloves, with the electric gauntlets, dude. Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh man.
The definitive way to play Batman Arkham City, dude.
When don't they already have Batman Arkham on the Switch?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a dog shit port. It was really bad apparently. I never bought it because I was like, oh hell yeah. Batman Arkham on the Switch. I would have bought that. And then the day it came out, I was like, oh yeah, that came out. Let me see how it's doing. And apparently it was like, Arkham Knight runs like ass. And I'm like, yeah, no duh. Surely Arkham Asylum and City run flawless because they're PS3 games. It's like, no. They did that weird thing where they ported the PS4 ports to Switch instead of porting native the PS3.
Oh god.
And they run like ass as well. And I'm like, why? It's not difficult. God damn it.
Just push the make game good button. God.
I don't understand why you make more work for yourself. Like, why would you port the... They were on 360. Like, why don't you just port the 360 port over? Like, god damn, not a weird Return to Arkham version. Anyway. I'm trying to think. Are there any IPs where I'm sitting there like,
Nothing says
funny.
Nothing says fall like baseball.
Oh god.
So
no, not Mario.
Naturally, because it's the only one left.
Oh,
no.
Oh,
the
Mario
only one
Baseball?
left is Mario Baseball.
Yeah. Bring it back. Dude, you know what they should bring back?
What?
let the fuckers cook with Square Enix again. Let them play. Let the Final Fantasy characters play sports with Mario characters again.
That'd be fun.
That shit was hype. I was a Cactar main.
Oh, you were.
Cactar. That was the basketball game, right?
Basketball and then Mario Sports Mix on the Wii. It was a good game. Better than people gave it credit for.
Hell yeah.
It looked really nice too for a Wii game.
I didn't know how good that they had it.
I know.
The Mario sports games this generation have been
77s all around.
Yeah.
Everywhere
All right,
you go.
I think that's what Sports Mix got.
Don't worry, I think 77 is the tagline for my fucking fantasy draft this year, regardless anyway. So, you know. Only kidding, guys. Only kidding. It's been worse than that. I would have loved some 77s in some cases.
Yeah, 6s, 7s, and 8s across the board for Sports Mix. Damn, that was a good game.
Yeah, but where did it land on the HGO scale, Cal? Where did it land on that?
If I reviewed it, I probably would have given it like a 4.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Which is a recommend. I believe.
It is.
I don't know. It's been since like May since I wrote a review.
Don't worry, it's only me that uses the bottom half of the scale anyway. Don't worry about it.
Hey man, I'm good at playing games I like.
Yeah, I don't want to engage with things that upset me.
I've got another 3 in me. I can see it. Let me go. Let me cook. But yeah.
Fuck it, just port Mario Sports Mix.
I'm down with that.
3 people would buy it, and
dude,
2 of them are me.
Legit, if they just ported the Mario sports games for the old versions of the ones that are on the Switch, I would buy those, and I'd be like, cool, the good ones. Thank you.
Mario Super Sluggers on the Wii, like the baseball game on the Wii, give that shit online play, I'd buy it.
Or like Toadstool Tour or Power Tennis.
Yeah.
That was the good stuff.
I guess the final question to ask is, have you got any more, Hunter, that you wanted to?
Oh, I think we've tapped my list now. All the other ones I had were said already.
Nintendo Switch Online will obviously keep trucking. Do they add another console to the list, Hunter, before we leave? Before we leave Switch land, do they add anything else? Or do they just keep releasing at least one game every 5 months for Nintendo 64?
It's absolutely one game every 5 months, and it'll be things that you didn't know existed.
Will they add Conquer to the mature app, Hunter? Will they add Conquer to the mature app?
Oh, is Conquer not there already?
No, I believe the only games on the mature app are like Turok and like Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's favorite game, Turok.
Yeah.
Hey man, they were a decent time.
I think my favorite thing that I heard recently was someone say that it took longer. There was the longer gap between the releases of Banjo 1 and 2 on NSO than Banjo 1 and 2 on the N64 when they came out originally. Like, there was a longer gap in releases. And I'm like, that is funny. Oh, will DK64, Hunter, will DK64 come to Nintendo Switch Online?
Oh, probably. I think that's a good send-off, honestly. Day before Switch 2 comes out.
I'll finally buy it.
What if it comes out with with DKCR?
That'd be funny.
Then we're fucking that new game off and we're playing DK64 is what we're doing. That sounds like
hell
fun.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Maybe Sam will talk to us again.
Aww.
Maybe it'll come out in October, so we have a Donktober game. Like, there you go. Perfect. You know? Yeah. Anyway, there you go. A hypothetical look at a final year of Switch. Come back next year where we do the same thing all over again.
with way less material, because these will all have come out if we're still here.
That's true. Everything we just said in this video is gonna happen.
We're still here. Are you implying that the world will end, or are you implying that Nintendo will take us out because we predicted too much right for Nintendo Switch?
No,
the Nintendo ninjas got us in the next year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think wouldn't they have come after me for Metroid? But
that's true.
You're on strike one, Hunter. You're on strike one.
I mean, if we're still here trying to predict the final year of the Switch because it hasn't ended yet.
Yeah.
They'll just start making deluxe versions of early Switch titles.
Finally, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Mario Odyssey Deluxe with 0 added features.
And I mean,
a new mariachi hat.
If you did want to know what our original predictions were for Nintendo Switch 2, if it was coming out this year, by the way, you can go and look back about 40 episodes ago. We did our hopes and dreams for Nintendo Switch 2, which I still think is pretty relevant. Just shift the dates from 2024 to 2025. And I think otherwise it's a pretty fun episode. We'll talk about what games we think were showing up, what we don't. I don't think we need to repeat that topic again. It was only 9 months ago. I think most of it still stands.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm sure the next time we bring this topic up again will hopefully be in January when we actually have some actual information to go off of. One thing I will tell you is Fantasy Draft is going to be very dire not having anything Nintendo on there for a while, because that's going to be like, hedge your bets on a Pokemon game, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone want to do that? Like, that's all you're going to have, basically, for the first picks. So yeah, going to be a little bit. But hey, that's all right. That's all right. We'll wrap it up there, I guess. We'll wrap it up there. It's just that simple. I'll put our links on screen right now. You can go and follow us on Blue Sky or on Twitter if you want to keep up to date with what we do outside of the podcast. We are all on Blue Sky if you want to go. It's the same @, just with, you just type the @ in. .Blue Sky, don't fuck that off, right? Just type the @ in. We'll be there. Same @, basically. No one's changed it. But yeah, you can go follow us there as well if you have removed yourself from Twitter, which, to be honest, good idea.
Highly recommend it.
Next week, wow, what plans do we have for you next week? We have such massive plans, such big
Game
plans.
Awards.
It is our Game Awards predictions, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving them a week early because we have games the following week. We have Anton Blast coming out, and we also, by then, maybe I'll have turned on my PS5 Pro and we'll get to bashing that good and proper. Maybe. Who knows? And if not, we know for a fact that probably by that point, Hunter will have made a good way through Metaphor, or have even finished Metaphor by that point, because he's got it recently. So look forward to him finishing the game before me, and his impressions coming then as well. So we've got a good couple of weeks coming out, and then it's obviously Game Awards reactions, and then Indiana Jones is that week, and then, we're basically getting all the way to Christmas at that point. Like, we're getting through it.
Ooh, boy.
Well, it'll be 2025 before you know it. Which is crazy, because 2025 sounds like a made-up year, and I think to me that's because Black Ops 2...
Dude, I'm still processing 2020.
Dude, Black Ops 2 came out in 2012, and it was like, it's set in the near future in the year 2025. I'm like, that's well off, that is, and now we're here, and I'm like, where's my wingsuits and invisible planes, dude? Where the fuck is all of that shit? Nowhere. Ruined.
That was a hysterical part of liking the Metal Gear series when I was growing up. MGS4 was set in 2014.
That is quite funny.
I passed that, I'm like, ooh, yeah, it hasn't taken over the world yet.
Not yet, anyway. Never doubt Kojima. Never doubt Kojima. But yeah, we'll leave it there then. Thank you ever so much for hanging out with us this week. We'll be back next week for probably a longer episode, as we have to go through Jeff Keighley's mistakes he has made. We're going to have to go and look over it, because remember, guys, Jeff Keighley puts all of the nominations up for the Game Awards, dude. No one else votes. It's just Jeff Keighley, okay? We all blame Jeff.
Even if he doesn't do it himself, he's an enabler.
Yeah.
He must be taken to task.
Jeff should be sitting there going, bad take, bad take, bad take, and just throwing the votes out. Rigging the election.
Veto.
Rig the election, Jeff. You need to do it, okay? You need to do it. But hey, we'll talk all about that next week. Same time, same place next week for all that. But until then, have an awesome week. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.